In 2001, after the 9/11 terrorist attacks to the U.S., Pakistan decided to declare itself an ally in the war against terror. But meanwhile, the Muslim insurgents that operated in the areas of Kashmir and Jammu attacked the Kashmiri Assembly, the part of the Kashmiri territory that was governed by India, and also attacked the Indian Parliament in New Delhi, where a lot of people were injured and killed. And so, of course, since then, negotiations have reached a stalemate, and, well, Pakistan has proposed several times that they both sit down and negotiate once more, but India has said that it's tired of just sitting and negotiating without any real results, and it's said that it's going to wait until Pakistan's actions support their words. So this is mainly the conflict. It's still unresolved. It still hasn't reached its end, but then we have to analyze why it is important, why it concerns us as students of international relations. And so, well, what happens here is the security dilemma. The security dilemma is the notion that one nation's security can mean another nation's insecurity. Let's analyze it a bit further. So with the security dilemma, there's 4 different possibilities, 4 different outcomes that can happen. The first possibility is that both countries arm. So this would mean that they would both be in military equality, but at a high cost and high tension. The second scenario would be that India disarmed, but Pakistan stayed armed, so India would be vulnerable and Pakistan superior. The third one would be that Pakistan disarmed and India remained armed, and so Pakistan would be vulnerable and India superior. And the fourth scenario would be that both countries disarmed, and this would be the best case scenario because there would be no costs and, of course, no threat of a nuclear war. As you can see here, well, this cartoon clearly shows what the situation is all about. They are both looking at each other, they're both pushing, and they both sort of prevent the other one from going any bit further. And so that's the situation that they're in. They both have the power, they're both pushing, but they push so hard that they stay in the same place. So there are some benefits to the security dilemma. As it's clearly shown here, well, the clear benefit of it is that, well, both countries know that the other one has the capability to destroy them, and because of that, none of them will have the courage or the initiative to strike first. And so in this sense, well, they both are assured that there will not be a nuclear war against each other. But of course, there are also costs. The first one is clearly narrated by this cartoon, where there are 2 fathers talking to their sons, telling them, the government can't afford to give you an education because we've got to teach our enemies a lesson. What this shows is that, well, governments are spending so much money, so much economic resources in the development of these nuclear programs that they are, well, not spending enough on their social programs. They're not spending enough in the well-being of their own citizens. And so this, of course, is a very high cost to both nations. And the other important cost is that the security dilemma can spread throughout the region. Here you can see that India, the Indian Prime Minister, says, today at 3:45 we conducted nuclear tests. Then Pakistan says, well, we had no choice but to implement our own tests. And then China says, heck, if they're doing it, and, well, they don't even want to say what Iran may be thinking. So this obviously creates a very dangerous chain of actions that can be very, very terrible. So the conflict is important also because neither India or Pakistan have signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty. This treaty was created by the United Nations, and the countries which have signed and ratified it have assured the international community that they will do everything within their power to prevent nuclear proliferation, that is, the spread of nuclear weapons, and that if they have their own nuclear weapons, that they will conduct their tests responsibly, and that they will do everything they can to prevent these nuclear weapons from falling in the hands of other states or even terrorist organizations. And as it is shown in the map, India, Pakistan, and Israel are the only countries in the world which possess nuclear weapons, but that have not signed or ratified the Non-Proliferation Treaty. What this means is that the nuclear arms that they possess are vulnerable to proliferation. They can easily fall into the hands of Al-Qaeda, who is, well, always trying to find new ways to threaten the Western civilization. And, well, of course, you can see that this area is almost the world's epicenter of terrorism. From this area, you can clearly get very, very quickly to Iran, to Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Iraq, Lebanon, Chechnya, the Central Asian republics, anywhere actually. And so it's even more dangerous that they fall in, that nuclear weapons in this area are vulnerable and unprotected, because they can fall in the hands of any terrorist organization and reach anywhere in the world. So what this means is that the areas vulnerable to nuclear attacks would be all of these. All of us would be in mortal peril if nuclear weapons should fall into the hands of people who are willing to implement these very dangerous artifacts to implement their own policies. So in conclusion, the Indian-Pakistan conflict is not based on a specific war, but rather on the religious rivalry between both countries of many decades. And this has made itself evident in the dispute of the regions of Kashmir and Jammu. The conflicts remain unresolved, as I told you, but the dangerous thing is that the conflict escalated to both countries having nuclear weapons, and this causes not only regional instability, but it also represents a great threat to world peace. So I would just like to leave you with these final thoughts, and I would make the whole world blind, like Mahatma Gandhi.